Blast me to Bermuda! It's episode 2 of Mad Merlin's Imperium journey. Hello, welcome back to episode 2 of the Warhammer 40,000 Imperium journey by Mad Merlins. So, like I said, we're going to go through issue 2 of the Warhammer 40,000 Imperium Parts Works by Hachette. And this issue includes 3 Necron Warriors, a pot of paint, and a get started paintbrush. So, here's our issue, here's our models, let's dive in. So, in issue 2 we will discover the Necron Warriors, paint our Necron collection, and fight a new playthrough. So let's see. Contents list. We have a datasheet for our Necron Warriors. We have background for the Zarakan dynasty, and we also have a background for the Ultramarines chapter. There's the build guide to the Necron Warriors, the paint guide to the Necron Warriors, and we have our mission, Escape Route. So here we have our datasheet for our first unit of Necron Warriors. So we will be getting 3 units, totaling 23 models throughout the collection. And this is our first of 3 models from the Get Started 40k paint set. So, Necron Warriors are fleshless mechanoid soldiers. Each of the models has a unique physical degradation. Some feature canoptic scarabs. They are all equipped with Gauze Flare, and they have living metal with reanimation protocols. So, let's roll up the information for our battle record. So, our phalanx designation for our unit is 5, the Glistening Sentinels. I remind myself how to spell sentinels. Okay, so the battle damage. Each Necron has a unique battle damage. So let's go from the first model. Has Scorched by an Explosion. And as usual, I'll be re-rolling the doubles. Our second model has Plasma Scoring. And our third model is Burned by Acid. So, we have Gifts of the Eons. And Necrons mutter the Pharaoh's name. So as I'm painting mine as Saltec dynasty, they'll be muttering Imhotep the Stormlord. Okay, and their origins is 2 Stasis Crit Failure. There we go. So, we haven't done any battles with them yet for the moment, so we leave the last 2 sections blank. So, moving on to our background sections. We have 2 pages. The first one is all about the Zarakan dynasty. So, one of the oldest of the Necron dynasties, it is the dynasty of Zarak, the Silent King, who has a long-standing history with the Blood Angels. So if you are painting Zarakan Dynasty and not wanting to do Ultramarines, I suggest the Blood Angel Force. So on the second page we have details about Zarak himself. And we have a map showing all the different tomb worlds of the Necron dynasties. Key highlighted ones are all the ones featuring the Zarak dynasty. As we get more pages, it will show more details about the different dynasties. And next page is all about the Ultramarines, the Warriors of Macraeg. A nice rendition of the front cover of the Codex, featuring a Terminator chaplain and a bunch of intercessors plus an ancient, holding the banners high. And on the back we got a nice, beautiful spread of models. Babute Gilliman, of course, we'll be getting him within the collection. Mineas Calgar as well, we'll also be getting him. We'll be getting some aggressors and some infiltrators, the incursors. But there's a nice lot of other models there to show off. Got some Terminators, and one model I bought in preparation for this is Chief Librarian Tigurius. Okay, now we're on to building. I will only do one model to save time and me blabbering and repeating, but I am going to show you a few hints and tips on how to make each of the models unique. I'll just adjust the camera, we'll be right back. So here we have our parts and our tools, and I have some additional components I have nabbed from a previously owned Necron Warrior sprue. I got an alternate head which has a nice scarred and dead eye, and I'm also going to equip two of these models with the Gorse Reaper, as that will then give me a unit of 10 with 5 and 5. So the components I will be using, I will use component 1, and as I learnt from my previous sets, it's a good idea to clip away the top sprue branches first, otherwise you might end up denting and bending your Necron's shoulder guard. So there we have the body, and I'm going to combine that one with body 4, which is its own body. I have also previously tried the other bodies, and it does have a slight problem with the way the right leg is. It will interfere with the cables on the other torsos. So ideally 4 is best, but you can mix and match the torsos between each of the Necron Warriors. Alright, let's quickly clean these up. Alright, something I haven't done before, which I will do for these, is to vary the support arms. So normally I would require arm 2. I am this time going to take arm 7, which goes to the second torso, as they all have a similar peg that should fit in. The one thing you will need to do is to remove any little nubs, which are guide nubs, which help the arms sit in a specific position to hold the gun. If you remove these, you can reposition the arm a lot easier. So there we go. You'll need a sharp knife. We can now push your left arm in place, like so. Now, as I'm using an alternate head, the holes on the Necron torsos are not fit. So I need to remove the little post. Use my scalpel just to make sure the area is flat. And I will require a small amount of glue to help affix the head. So this will go on as normal. So his head's sort of leaning to one side, like he's looking out of his one good eye. So now we can go ahead and push this together. And while we're at it, we'll attach him to the base. Now our final part is his weapon, which, like I said, I have the Gauze Reaper. So again, in order for it to fit, we need to remove the guide nub. And doing so also allows it to freely pop in and out of the socket, which will be handy when you're removing and the weapon for painting. Once you have painted the detail on the Necron, you can then simply put a little bit of glue in the hole and in the socket, and the guns and the arms will be locked in place. There we have it. That's actually worked out quite well. It now looks like he's actually looking down the barrel of the gun with his one good eye, ready to vaporize anyone who disturbs his eternal slumber. I will quickly get the other two models together and I'll show you the finished results. And here we have our finished warriors. So this one has a broken jaw for his head, and he's really dragging his weapon along the ground. It's almost overlapping the base, but I think it looks suitably shambly. And our third Necron Warrior, which is our second Gauze Reaper, I had to get a different one as the other one didn't match up the arm slots. That's the only problem you will have. You need to make sure the arms match up nicely. But I found another one that works suitably well for him. And another one with a damaged eye. But I'm kind of running out of heads now. I've only got eyes or near perfect heads left. But there we have our built models. I will get some spray on these and I will give you a quick painting tutorial shortly. Right, I'm back now. I have spray painted the model. I have used Lead Belcher by Games Workshop Citadel range. I've protected my work surface with some spare paper. I have my paints all lined up at the back. So we've got lead belcher, which we will use to touch up any areas that have not been covered by the spray. Corvus black for all the black details. Corax white for any glow areas. Caliban green for green cables. Tesseract glow for the glow effect. Astrogranite for base. And a mix of Basilicon grey and contrast medium in 1 to 2. Perfect for washing the whole model. I've also got a texture tool for basing, and I've got a standard size paintbrush, which will be useful for applying all the paints in this tutorial. Also got pot of water, and the lid for the pot makes a perfect little palette. So, give the paint a good shake. I've decanted all my Games Workshop paints into dropper bottles as I find it easier. They're already slightly thinned down, but a little bit of extra water just helps them flow that much better. So, making sure you ain't got too much paint on the brush. Cover up the areas that's missing. So, his hand, up underneath his shoulder blades, and a little bit of his chest detail. So just make sure you go around the whole model, touching up any areas that you've missed with the spray. There we go. With the lead belcher applied and dried, our Necron Warrior is fully base coated. Now we'll start adding on the additional colours. We'll start with Corvus black, which is for all the black detail. I've also changed my water and cleaned my palette so there's no silver specks left in the paint water, so that we don't contaminate our non-metallics. Now the details we're going to look out for are any soft ribbed cables like these two around his chest, and we'll also paint the gun casing. I have a bit too much water in with my paint. It's a bit too runny. So in that case, I will put a second layer on once the first has dried. Corvus black going over silver may require 2 coats anyway. Once that's done, we can move on to the next step. There we go, we've got 2 coats of black down on the cables and the gun casing. Our next colour is Caliban Green, which is for any green cables, as well as his chest tank. So they'll start the gun. So you want to paint this large cable green, and on our Necron you want to do the cable hanging from his chest and his chest tank. Made a mistake there, I'll have to cover that up with some lead belcher. And try and rub away the symbol, paint off the symbol. Again, you may need 2 coats. While we wait for the green to dry, we'll move straight on to the texture of the base, Astrogranite. pretty old pot, so I have to shake it to get the paint down. We use the large flat scoop side of our texture tool to grab a load of the texture and simply plop it down the base, start to move it around, and as you get close to detail like the feet, I'll swap to the flat spreader side and just gently move it into position. There. The texture base down and drying, I'm going to use an old brush, slightly wet, and just scoop some of the texture and apply it to the rocks on the base. Just so it doesn't go on too thickly and clog up any detail. There. Leave that for about 20 minutes to dry, and we can move on to the washing stage. With our base all dried and any mistakes tidied up, we're now ready to apply an overall wash of a mix of Basilicanum Grey and Contrast Medium in a 1:2 ratio. This gives a nice gritty look to our Necrons, making them look ancient and worn. And like I said, we're going to put this all over, so the silver, the black, the green, even the base. We want to make sure when we're applying the shade that it's not pooling in any of the recesses too much. If it is, just like on the shoulder pad here, use our brush and move it around to a new area. With our Basilicanum Grey and Contrast Medium mix applied and dried, all we can do now is the weapon glow. So first off, we want Corax White. And this we want to make sure we haven't got too much on our brush, and then apply it to areas that we want to glow. So the energy orbs on the gun, make sure you run it into all the recesses. Make a mistake, if you're quick enough you can just wipe it away. Like that. The only other area to apply is his eye. Just run it into the recess there. With the Corax White dried, we can now add the glow effect using the technical Tesseract Glow. This is a simple matter of just applying this over the white. And with the Tesseract glow dried, that is our Necron battle ready. I've also painted the rim of the base with Corvus Black, mixed with a little Corax White, to give it a nice off grey to set it away from the battlefield. And there we have it. Make sure you paint all your Necron Warriors at the same time, and you'll have a unit on the battlefield ready for the playthrough. Okay, we've painted our first models with the Necron Warriors. So now let's get on with Mission 2, Escape Route. As the Necron repair facility hums to life, the Necron Warriors within have begun to awaken. As they rise from their slumber, commands flood into their android brains. Unleash the Destroyers. Within their damaged repair complex, newly repaired Necrons have begun to come to life. Called to action by their commanders, a trio of Necron Warriors have been awakened and given orders. Reach the repair facility's canoptic chambers and activate a canoptic plasma site. This robotic construct is capable of awakening the Destroyer cults. Necrons whose bodies bristle with deadly weapons and whose minds are filled with an insane hatred for the living. If the Destroyers wake, they will surely carve the Space Marines into bloody pieces. Mindless servitude. Necron Warriors are completely enslaved to the will of their superiors. They will follow their orders without question or concern for their own lives. Mission briefings. As the Necron Warriors move implacably towards their objective, they stumble upon the Primaris Lieutenant. If they are to reach the canoptic plasma site, they will have to make their way past the trespasser first. Necron Warriors, Vermin Hunt. The Necron Warriors' orders are clear. Reach the canoptic chambers and activate a canoptic plasma site. In order to reach the canoptic chambers, the Necron Warriors must first make their way past the Space Marine intruders, including a fearsome Primaris Lieutenant. Though they are programmed to be merciless killing machines, they need not slay their opponent. If they can reach the canoptic plasma site and unleash the Destroyer cults, their crazed, murderous kin will rise to slaughter the Space Marine intruders. Fail, however, and the Space Marines may well be able to sabotage the Necron repair complex. Primaris Lieutenant. Destroy the Awakened. Having survived his encounter with the Royal Warden, a Primaris Lieutenant has delved deeper into the Necron repair complex. Reaching the heart of the obsidian structure, he has stumbled across a vast chamber full of deactivated Necron constructs and blade-limbed destroyers. The metallic footsteps of Necron Warriors approach. The Primaris Lieutenant must prevent the relentless Necron Warriors from reaching the chamber beyond and activating the deadly androids that are still slumbering. Positioning himself between the Necron Warriors and their dormant kin, he draws his Neo-Volkite pistol and prepares to fire. So, our missions are clear. Stop the Awakened and get out. So, for this mission, we don't need any objective markers. We just need to get our Necrons up the escape edge, which is here. So, for deployment, a Primaris Lieutenant will start on location B. We then place one Necron Warrior on location D, another on location E, and another halfway between the two. Make sure their bases are touching the edge of the mat. So, again, we have watered down datasheets. Our Primaris Lieutenant can move 6 inches, has a ballistic skill of 2+, 5 wounds, and a save of 3+. His pistol can shoot 2 dice. The Necron Warriors have a move of 5 inches, a ballistic skill of 3+, 1 wound, and a 4+ save. Their Gauss Flayers can shoot 2 dice. We also learn how to advance. For advancing, we roll on a d6 and add that to our move value before we move. So, in this mission, the Space Marines get first turn. So we're going to move 6 inches towards the center of the battlefield. And then we're going to shoot our Neo-Volkite pistol. The Neo-Volkite pistol has 2 shots, which means we can split the shots up to different targets. So we're going to shoot this one and this one. So 1 dice for each target. The first one, we need a 2+. We hit. The second one, we need a 2+. It also hits. Now the Necrons need to save. They need to save on a 4+. So here we go. First Necron is fine. Second Necron. Oh no. The shot has hit his core and caused critical failure. Necron Warriors only have a single wound. This means the Necron Warrior is removed from the battlefield. First turn, and it's not looking good for the Necrons. Oh well, their turn to activate. Our first Necron Warrior is going to move forward 5 inches. And he's going to take 2 shots at the Primaris Lieutenant with his Gauss Blaster. Oh no, Snake Eyes. He misses entirely. Obviously he hasn't woken up yet. Our second Necron Warrior is going to make a run for it. So we'll roll a dice to see how many additional inches he can move. Ooh, someone's had their energy drink. 6. That means he can move a total of 11 inches. So he is right up the other end of the board. So, that's the end of turn 1. And with it, the Necrons are almost close to victory. So, we check the victory conditions. No Necrons have escaped the edge. So we continue on. It's now the Space Marine's turn. Uh-oh, he doesn't want that Necron Warrior to get out. He's going to have to move and engage it. We'll move 5 inches backwards. And then we're going to pour all our shots into the one target. We don't want to lose this opportunity to take him out. Uh-oh, we've lost that opportunity. Snake Eyes again. 2 shots whiz right past the speedy Necron Warrior. It's the Necron's turn, and we think we know what's going to happen. The Necron Warrior strides off the battlefield, doing a dance as he does so. Our second Necron Warrior, let's see. He's 9 inches away. If I can get a 4 or more, that's the second Necron Warrior off the board. Let's see what happens. Ooh! And he's also woken up. That's 6 inches. Added to his movement of 5, making 11. He's off the board. End of the round. And we find out that yet again, the Necrons have won. That Space Marine Lieutenant was a poor shot. I think he needs to go back and do some training on the battle barge. But regardless, the Necrons have made it off the battlefield and are about to wake up their brothers, the Necron Destroyers. There we go, that's the end of issue 2. And what a fun issue. We've built some new models, some awesome Necron Warriors. We've also painted them up to a battle ready standard. And we've also won our second mission for the Necrons. That's totaling up 2-0 now for the Ultramarines. They're going to have to work hard for issue 3 and 4. So let's see what we're going to be getting up to in the next two Imperiums. So, issue 3, we get the Assault Intercessors. 3 mighty Space Marines, the remnants of their squad. A pot of Macraeg blue to start painting our Ultramarines. And we also learn about close combat. Next, in issue 4, we get the amazing Scorpic Destroyers and a Plasma Sight. We also get a pot of Lead Belcher, meaning we can add extra details to our Necrons. And we also get a brand new game mat so we can play our biggest mission yet. So, I'd like to thank you for watching. Please follow me on my social medias, use my affiliate link or my Buy Me a Coffee. Also, please like, comment, share and subscribe if you'd want to find out... Sorry, there's my tongue going wrong. If you'd like to receive more mad content. So, this has been Merlin. This has been my Imperium journey, and goodbye.